Greetings, true believers, Joel Pal, Spider-Man. Hey Cadre, it's KJ here. Today we're gonna start two journeys. First of all, I got completed the Piff box from Chad, so I've gone through all the soaps and samples that he sent me. Well, Chris, Gear Noir, also sent me a bunch of samples of mostly grooming department samples. So I'm gonna start going through those. Let's see, I got five grooming department soaps to get through. So the first one I'm going to try, I just put the sample down in my lather bowl, squished it down so I can lather directly from this, is Yuzu, which is no longer on their website, so I wasn't able to look up the scent notes, but Yuzu is basically a Japanese citrus fruit, kind of like a grapefruit, which I definitely get some grapefruit-ish notes from it. But it's not as bright as I thought it might be. So there's other stuff going on, but I don't know what those are. Kind of not quite smoky, but there's something else in there that's playing with the grapefruit. It smells pretty good. Also, I've got a Gillette Techmatic razor. And I've had it for a while, but the blade cartridge is old, and so it's just been sitting on my collector shelf. Well, Nurse Dave sent me a new old stock replacement head for it. So I'm going to try out the Techmatic. So it almost seems a shame to bust this open because it is new old stock, and this would be awesome in my display case, but I'm gonna open this up and I'll keep it intact, so I'll throw the old cartridge in there and still put it in my display case, and then maybe swap it out when this thing is done. He sent it to me to use, so that's what I'm gonna do. So when you take it out, it's in a little plastic holder. So the basics of this is the Techmatic was one of the precursors to a cartridge razor. They called this a cartridge razor, so it actually probably was one of the first cartridge razors. But instead of being like a normal cartridge that you just pull out and push back in, this one has, well, there's two different models. This one has 10 edges in it. So you can see the blade is going across there, but it's actually a band, kind of like a bandsaw going around in there, but it's a whole band of razors. So once this edge is used up, then you turn this lever one rotation to advance to the next section of the band. So you have basically 10 edges on it worth that are wound up in this band. Now looking at this new one, I can see that it's not quite even, so I don't know if you're supposed to use the first edge as is, but I think I'm going to go ahead and advance it when I put it in there and see what happens there. So there is a button right here to eject the cartridge, and then the lever here to advance to the next blade. And then there's a counter on here that'll tell you which band you're on. It'll tell you how many more edges you have left. This one starts at 10 and counts down. Now the one that was in here was an adjustable. So when you take it out, this one has a high to low adjustment on it, which adjusts the height of the band razor above the guard, I guess. The new one that I got from Dave is not adjustable. And then in here, there's a date code, just like all the other Gillettes from the later years at least. This is an M3, so that's a 1967 variant. So we're gonna go ahead and put this inside. Just line up the head There's 4 slots that you kind of line up the grooves in and then just push it in. So, well, now that it's lined up, now that it's in there, it looks like the band is straight. So I guess we'll go ahead and just try to use it as is. So this will be the first time ever using the Gillette Techmatic razor. In general, I have not heard good things about these razors from people who have used them, but every now and then I have read where somebody gets a decent shave. So not going in with any great expectations, but we'll give her a good go. So I haven't used a boar brush in a while, so I dug out my smoke brush, and that's what we're going to be using to lather up the grooming department. So, while I'm getting this lathered up, I'll tell you that my oldest daughter had a birthday this week, and she turned 16. So she got her license on Thursday, and she actually drove herself to my house yesterday. So big congratulations to her. And this weekend we're going to be going out to celebrate her birthday. She wanted to do mini golf. So there's a few places in Kansas City for mini golf. We're going to go to one that we haven't been to before. And then she wanted to do Mongolian barbecue, which is kind of a new thing we recently discovered. I mean, I'd known about it for a while, but I hadn't really taken the kids there. But if you don't know Mongolian barbecue, you go to like a salad bar and you pick out meats, which are mostly raw, and vegetables and sauces, and then you take it up to the grill and they stir fry the whole thing up for you. I like it because being on the ketogenic diet, I can pick exactly what I want and steer clear of the sauces that have sugars and other sweeteners in it. So it's a great way that they can customize their stuff, and I can eat something good and still stay within my diet. So we've been to Huhat Mongolian Grill before, a couple times. That was the first one that I'd taken them to. And this time we're going to try Beatty's, which is one that I've heard good things about but have never tried. The one thing that Beatty's has that Huhat does not is shrimp, and all my kids love shrimp. And I think that's all I'm going to eat is shrimp, because I like shrimp too. And shrimp is a good fatty meat, so it's good for the keto diet. So I think this has taken me maybe a little bit longer to come together than normal. I don't know if it's the soap or because I'm using a boar brush. But I think we're good to go. Could probably add a little bit more water, but I think we'll try that. So, slightly nervous about this, but I'm gonna give it a go. Feels pretty smooth, feels pretty mild. So maybe because it's mild, that's why people haven't been getting good shaves with it. Actually, most of the comments have been, I think, about it being kind of rough, which this doesn't feel rough at all. Could be, though, that the vintage cartridges that they were using weren't stored properly, and moisture can leak through the cardboard packaging, and even if you've got a blade that's new old stock and it's sealed, there's still a potential for water damage and corroding of the blade. So that could have been part of the problem too. Seems pretty good to me. Definitely a bit more mild than I prefer. But it's comfortable at least. Seemed to do a decent job for the first pass. Now, one thing I am kind of concerned about with this razor is the, as you get the razor wet, you're getting that entire band wet. So, if the blade is going to corrode or degrade because of water, then you're actually going to be degrading the life of future blades before you even get to them, which is probably part of why that cartridge design didn't catch on and was not successful. It's good in theory, but not in practice, I guess. So maybe a flush with alcohol when I'm done to try to get some of the moisture out. I don't know, I almost expected this to be a rough shave, but it's anything but. It's almost the smoothest feeling shave I've ever had. It's that light. I mean, unless you were pushing in with a lot of pressure, which I am using some pressure because it is kind of a lighter razor, but even in the instructions for it, it says to use no pressure. But I always use pressure a little bit. But you would have to really, really push in with a lot of force to get this thing to bite you, I think. So I'm still smelling the yuzu soap through the shave. So the scent is carrying on pretty well. I'm not generally a fan of fruity or citrusy scents except for lime. But like I said, there's some other stuff going on in this one. So it's pretty good. It's still not a soap scent that I would buy on my own. But it is really pleasant. So if you do like citrusy scents that aren't bold citrus and have some other notes playing, it's a pretty good smelling soap. So we actually got pretty decent shave. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw some of this on there and do a quick touch up. See how it does against the grain. Well, this area right here is my worst spot for against the grain. If a blade or a razor is going to give me trouble, that's where it's going to get me, and this was just fine. So I gotta say, overall, I'm pretty impressed with the razor. Like I said, it's very mild, but it's a very easy shave, and I have no complaints about it. Would prefer it to be a little bit more aggressive, so I really am curious about the adjustable version and how it would feel if it was cranked up rather than just the normal version. And I don't know where the normal version is in the high to low setting for the adjustable. I don't know if it's at the low end or if it's at the middle end. I'm not sure, but it definitely would be curious to see how it would play at the high end. But other than that, it was a great shave. The grooming department soap, I had no complaints about that either. Maybe a little bit lacking in residual slickness. I probably could have done a little bit of touch up without reapplying lather on that last pass, but I wasn't feeling it, so I just went ahead and put some on there. But today, there's been a lot of talk on the forum about Tabic and Lilac Vegetal lately. So I went ahead and mixed up a little sample of Tobacco Veg. So that's what I'm going to be using. So what is Tobacco Veg? Well, it's half Tabic, half Lilac Vegetal, the veg. So it really is an amazing scent. The two really play well together. I would say that the tobacco slightly overpowers the veg in the mix, at least at first, and then later on the veg kind of shines at the end. But they're both in there, and I can definitely smell both, and so it's really good. Not as protective or as moisturizing as I would like from an aftershave, so eventually I'll mix up a full bottle of it, and I'll probably just add some glycerin or something to it, and maybe a little bit of menthol. I could dig some menthol in that a little teeny bit. But that's the shave. Check us out, www.theshavingcadre.com. I'm Spider, and we'll see you guys on the forums. Bye.